Greetings, it's Doc Griffin, your swing surgeon director of club fitting operations, and it's time again for the doctor's house call. Serge has asked me to handle this question that has come into us off of our Facebook page, and it comes from one of our viewers named Tom Koberger, and if I butchered that name, I certainly apologize. His question is, Don, how do you compress the ball if we are hitting up on it? If we hit up, we lose the club face angle, and that causes topping or blading the ball. Please explain. Thanks. Now, before we get going here, and I'll reiterate the question, I want to take just a moment to say, hey, notice I have a mic. If you're having trouble hearing, it's not on this end. We've got plenty of people that can hear it. I've checked it on iPhone, I've checked it on a tablet, I've checked it on a laptop, checked it on a towel. You can hear it just fine. So if you're having a problem hearing it, it's on your end, and I guess this apology really doesn't mean a whole lot since you can't hear me anyway. But that being said, and those of you who know me appreciate that, the question being about compressing the ball and losing the club face angle. Some visual aids. Let's start with a driver. Now I'm going to sole this driver properly, flat, square to the target line, and if you'll notice, the leading edge of the club is behind the handle. Alright? Now let's do an iron. Alright? The more loft on the club, the more dramatic it gets. Club is set square, it is soled properly, and you can see the club handle is way in front of the club face. Now, conventional teaching has been, and I have an idea where this came from, and I'm going to share that in a minute, but the conventional teaching is that we want to hit a golf ball with an iron in a descending blow. If you'll think about it, think about the swing almost like a V, where you're coming in chop and coming back up, coming in very steep. So what you're doing is you're taking this club and coming in to the ball here. And what that's doing is trapping the ball. It's also de-lofting the club. It's trapping the ball, de-lofting the club, and creating additional spin on the golf ball, which you cannot control once it hits the green, what the ball is going to do. The effect of trapping and de-lofting the club is basically taking, let's just start with a 6-iron, and we're going to turn it into a 5-iron or a 4-iron depending on just how steep we come in with that angle. So when you hear announcers on television talking about compressing the golf ball, they're not talking about the actual physical act of the club head hitting the ball compressing, then rebounding off of the club face. They're talking about compressing it, trapping it, if you will, into the ground, causing it to spin, de-lofting club, comes up, and like I said, if you take a 6-iron and turn it into a 5-iron or 4-iron, you're certainly going to hit it further. Taking the club and de-lofting it. Okay? Now, with the Peak Performance Golf Swing, when we talk about hitting up on a golf ball, alright, let's go back to the driver. You got the ball on a tee coming in. Obviously, I think most of you would agree, you don't want to hit a tee shot coming in with the club face coming in on that angle. It's just not designed to do that. It's designed with the loft to hit slightly up on the ball and get the ball going on its proper trajectory. Same thing with an iron. You've got a loft of this iron, that's what's going to get the ball airborne and start it on the proper trajectory. Now I think where Tom gets a little bit of a misconception or gets off target here is hitting up on the ball, we're not talking about coming in here and trying to scoop it or come this way. Whereas I said a moment ago, you want to think of the swing that's being taught as hitting down on the ball being a descending blow or almost like a V shape. We want to think of the peak performance golf swing a little more in an elongated U. Okay? An elongated U. Now, if you're topping the ball or blading it, then there are a few things that can be happening. Losing the spine tilt, raising up, losing the knee flex, standing up, having the ball too far forward. With that club coming into the ball, if it's too far forward and you've already started coming up on your swing, then of course you're going to top it. So in the peak performance golf swing, our objective is to not hit down on the ball with a descending blow, and it's really not to try and catch, particularly on an iron shot with the ball out in front, to catch it up here on an ascending blow. We want to have the ball and the club coming together where the club face is coming back into the ball flat like it's supposed to be, meaning that the loft is as it is, and we're just lightly brushing the ground. The ball leaves the club face, and then the club face is coming, or the club head's coming on up, and we get up into the tee finish. So I hope that explains and clarifies what we mean by hitting up on the ball. We're not trying to add loft or scoop it. We're just trying not to hit down on it with a descending blow. Trust me, as a person who has had severe tendonitis in the elbows and some arthritis in the thumbs, that hitting down on the ball and the shock, it's not pleasant. It's much more body friendly to catch it in a little more of a sweeping motion and lightly brushing the turf as you come through. Well, that's it for me for today. And if you have any more questions or comments, please be sure to get them to us, and we'll do our best to respond. And remember, better golf is just a fit away.